Tischlein, Dich translates from German into table, set yourself. It is a well-known fairy tale by the world-famous fairy tale writers Brothers Grimm. The story is about a tailor and his three sons who are driven from their home by the tricks of a wicked goat. The eldest son becomes a carpenter and receives a magical table at the end of his apprenticeship. When he says, "Table, set yourself," or "Tischlein, deck dich," the table instantly sets itself with the most delicious food and drinks. In the first week of December, Tischlein, deck dich, or the magical table, won the 55th Prix Schappo. The Prix Schappo is a public award given by the Canton of Basel Stadt twice a year to recognize outstanding voluntary and civic engagement by individuals and organizations within the canton. Here is the interview with Reto Schlegel. We talk about their work, volunteering, and what winning the award means to them. This is Neighbourhood News, and you are listening to the audio story.
My name is Reto Schlegel. I am in charge of communication association of Tischlein, Dich.
Mr. Reto, thank you for speaking to Neighbourhood News. My first question is, how do I translate the name of the organization in English?
It is a fairy tale from the Grimm brothers, a typically German culture piece which doesn't translate. If you need to translate, absolutely, it's maybe the wishing table. It is a table which is being covered by magic, with food, with generosity, with opulence, out of nothing. Tischlein, Dich.
The magical table that has won a magical award today. How do you feel after winning the Prix Schappo?
We feel very honored, very happy, joyful to have received this distinction. For all the volunteers here in Basel, around 100 working every week, half a day or more, in distributing these saved food from waste to people in need. But everywhere else in Switzerland also, more than 4,500 volunteers working the same way every week, being there on a regular basis, with commitment, with seriousness, with discipline, but with a heart full of joy and generosity. We have heard it this evening. The volunteers have expressed their joy of meeting and being together with their friends, the team, and their customers and people in need.
One of the advantages of winning the Prix Schappo is that people come to know about the organization if they have not heard about it before. For someone who is listening about this organization for the first time, what does this organization do?
We have two missions: save food from the waste bin, from being thrown away, from being lost, together with shops, with the big players in the Swiss grocery market, Coop, Migros, Aldi, Denner, Lidl, Voll, with them and the industry, the factories, the big names also, national brands, international brands who produce consumer goods and food. We work together with them. We have partnerships, we have contracts, we have agreements that they put at our disposal. They donate to us what cannot be sold, what cannot go to the market and being sold to their customers. And on the other side, the second mission, which completes the first one very nicely, is to distribute this food to people in need all over Switzerland.
On a day-to-day basis, how does this organization work in action?
We have here in Basel 4 distribution centers who operate 1 hour per week. It is always the same hour, the same day. You can imagine it as a pop-up store here in Elisabethenkirche or the Thomaskirche or the Matthäuskirche and the Zwingli House. And there, 1 hour a week, customers come, they receive food, they can choose their food, they are welcomed and then shown around to choose the food they like, they need for their families and for their daily use.
Can you tell us the origin story of this organization? How did this initiative start? It is 25 years now, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, it's 26 years now. In 1999 it was founded in Switzerland, the first food safe organization. If you go back to these years, it was not that common. We had to convince a lot of people that they should do it. This consciousness of climate change and responsibility and solidarity, and that our waste culture is not sustainable for the future. This is quite recently. So in the first years, it was doing pioneering work, opening up ideas, winning people. And so it was growing every year, more distribution centers, more vehicles, more logistical platforms, more kilos, and hundreds and thousands of tons of food gathered every year. The idea was indeed of people from the industry that they saw in the evening in the shops, good food left over. What shall we do with it? We need to do something with it, which is not possible for us to donate it in a controlled manner in a surrounding which is well organized, so that people also, that we have an organization of people who have the right to receive it. This is not a part of our organization. We have customer cards. You cannot just come to our shops and say, I need help, I don't have money. No, you have to be in touch with an organism, with a social office or a social service who is recognized, who is acknowledged by us, and who is authorized, entitled to distribute, to give out these customer cards. And with these cards, you can come. Our volunteers check. Every person that comes is checked. Okay, we know you, you have your card. Please come in and receive your food, receive your aid. This was important to them. This aspect of logistical, professional way of working with food, the knowledge of how to handle food with cooling, with freezing, with delays of how long you can keep in a safe manner this and this type of food, and the social part of working together with external and professional social services.
After the break, we discuss volunteering with Reto, the growth of the organization, his learnings in this role, and what you can do to help regardless of your location in Switzerland or elsewhere. Here's the second part of the conversation.
All the volunteers work for free?
Our 4,500 volunteers work for free. We have a team of about 30 people which are employees. We work in administration, fundraising, logistics. We organize, we keep things flowing and running. But yes, the immense part of what is done by volunteers with their sense of sharing, solidarity, and what needs to be done out of the goodness of the heart.
Is the food free?
We have the symbolic franc. When you get into the distribution, you show your card and you pay 1 franc for your groceries. It's symbolic. It's at the same time something which gives you a sense of dignity, and you behave as everyone else. You go into a shop, you pay, you are not a beggar, you don't hold out your hands, you're not completely without any autonomy or means. It is part of our ritual, but other than this, it is donated, it is for free. They don't buy the food, and we don't sell it. Nothing is sold in our operations. We are entirely financed and funded by private donations. We don't receive any, let's say, revenues. We have donations by private people, by foundations, by companies, by churches, by communes and cities. All these categories send in 10 francs or 10,000 francs to finance our operations. We need to gather every year a budget of around 8 to 9 million Swiss francs to run this organization how it is today. And it will grow. It has grown in the last 20 years. It shall probably grow the next years.
Which is also the ironical part of this. If this organization is growing, it means there is more food wastage and more people who are not being able to afford food. And that is something that one of your colleagues said on the stage, that the goal is that there is no food wastage and nobody is hungry, but that's not the reality. What is your hope for the future in next 5-10 years?
In such short term future, our hope is that we can continue to do our work, that we can optimize our work, that we can grow in a reasonable and controlled manner, and that we can expand. Also, which is very important for us in our philosophy, is the idea of cooperation and partnership. We do it with other food aid organizations. What we collect today, we cannot all distribute by our network. So we cooperate with other food aids. We tell them, maybe we have 5 tons of bananas today. It's too much for us. Can you take a part of it? Our vision is that all these players which are important in the food waste and food safe initiative are working more and more closely together to avoid everything that goes wasted.
What have been your learnings in the past 3 years of being associated with this organization?
With the magical table with Tischlein, Dich, I think my most profound learnings was that we have the same difficulties as everywhere else. We are human beings, we are limited, we have our weaknesses and bad days, and we struggle with the same thing as everyone else. In families, in companies, in wherever people work together, we have the same. But what I think makes the place worth for me to invest and to stay there and to make it better and become better myself is that we believe in this something which is beyond us, which is solidarity, which is helping others, and which makes us, I think, better.
And is there anything that people who are listening can do? Do you need volunteers, food distribution system help, support? How can the city come together to help the magical table?
On many levels, we need and take very humbly and with gratefulness financial donations. If people come and are willing and can help as volunteers in our distribution centers, or also maybe only one night, one day for once in a while for special missions, I think it's on these two levels that you can help us. Financial donations. Is there a job open for me? It's benevol.ch is the market platform for volunteer non-paid jobs in Switzerland, and we have about 30 openings today. And else working maybe for other organizations which are in food safe and food aid. And I think lastly, mostly is to where you go and where you have the power in your fridge, and when you buy things, when you cook, and when you educate young people or your children to be a food saver.
Thank you so much for speaking to Neighbourhood News, Mr. Reto.
Thank you so much for your interest, your questions.
And we hope you, the listeners, enjoyed this episode of Neighbourhood News audio story. Follow the series wherever you get your podcasts. Also, remember to subscribe to Neighbourhood News, news you can use, your weekly English language digital newsletter directly in your inbox. The link to the newsletter and other mentions in this audio story are in the show notes. See you in the next episode.